And welcome back to Big Apple Hockey. I am your host for tonight, flying solo, John Fulkowski. Mark and Anthony are not going to be in with me tonight. I know, funny. We'll drop another Mark Anthony reference there for anyone who wants to go ahead and do it. But I will be flying solo tonight. I'm just experimenting with a little something here, seeing if maybe I could do a little post-game videos and reactions and see how many people tune in and get some conversation going. I know it's late. It's 11 p.m. here on the East Coast, and it might be hard to get some people in on this, but we wanted to try it out. And I promise if I do these going forward, they will be a little earlier than this. I will try to make them a lot earlier, so this way we can get a lot more people involved, a lot more discussion, and a lot more discourse, especially after games like this, where there's a lot of good to talk about. Oh, no, Joe, it's not just us. There's three other viewers aside from you. I'll take what I can get because a beggar can't be a chooser. So I will I will gladly take all the viewers I can get here at this point. So I hope everybody is having a good night. But you know what? Not a bad loss. I'll start by saying that, but you guys have been seeing it, and girls too, for Ariana in here. Just wanted to throw out the idea of doing this, and then also obviously point out that I do my good, bad, and ugly posts not only on the Facebook group but the Twitter as well. The Twitter, yeah. I don't know why I said the Twitter. That's like calling like pot the pot. Like who does that? Actually, I know people who do that, but it's a little weird, but whatever. But yeah, I can't leave Mark in charge of promotions anymore. You're right. I might have to have a talk about that with Mark. But yeah, I just wanted to do this. I thought that it would be a good idea. Like I said, I will try to do these a lot earlier, so this way we can get more on and we can get more people into the discussion. And you know what? A lot of the comments I'm going to get to you and get to all of you guys in a bit, and girls, and get everyone involved. We will do some talking, but first, I'll just throw up the intro video and let the title do the talking. Yes, it's that time again. My good, bad, and ugly post. And we're doing it in a video here. Mark just texted me in our little group and said, feel free to go nuts. I don't know if I can really go nuts because I don't think this was a bad game. I'll start by saying that. I really don't think it was a bad game at all. And a lot of the comments that I've seen so far have really kind of hit the head on the nail. Matt, I thought we played all right. I thought we played better than all right, Matt. I think that we outworked them in the third. I thought the first two periods were kind of just bad in execution. I don't think I don't think the effort wasn't there. I just think the execution was bad, and that's part of why the offense never got off the ground in the first two periods. They matched them defensively. The first goal was kind of just fluky, weird. I mean, I thought it was tipped, but they gave it to Riley somehow. I guess the screen, you know, and yeah, and this is another good point. They ran out of time, but I mean, I'll go through it, and we'll talk in bullet points, and we'll have fun with this. But I'll also address your comments, and I'll start with the first part of my post, and that was that the third line was great again, and it's been their arguably best line. Hedl with Lafreniere and Gauthier. And ever since Gauthier was called up and Hedl came back and this line was put together, they've been incredible. They've been absolutely incredible, that line. That line has been a real good scoring line. They've played well defensively. Lafreniere, who I've been hard on for not being engaged, not being assertive, not being aggressive, he looks engaged. And I think part of that is Julien Gauthier's compete level, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But that line just seems to be clicking. They seem to be doing everything right. They've even got some goals. Julien Gauthier had a real nice goal the other game against Montreal. He needed that more than anything. He just looked really good tonight. I think, again, like I said, that whole line looked really good tonight. They keep generating chances. They keep the pressure on. The forecheck is good. They're getting the pucks deep. I know, cliche. Nobody wants to hear the coaching rhetoric. Get the pucks deep. Play a full 60. Yeah, I know. Those lines get annoying because you hear them over and over again, especially during losses where you don't want to hear it. You want them to get straight to the point. Kind of like our honest press conferences. Shameless plug. Gotta love it, right? But, yeah. So that line's been good. It's been really good. I'm running out of words to say about that line. I know it's only a few games, but just every shift they go out there, they look like they want it. They make something happen, even if they don't score. You know what? And that's the thing. In hockey, they tell you just win each shift. And like if you watched our Ray Ferraro interview yesterday, Ray Ferraro, when I asked him about that 93 series against Pittsburgh and the look that he had on his face every time he went out there, he said that Al Arbour asked him to tie Ron Francis each shift. And then when he did it, he went and asked him to do it again. And then when he did it the next time, again, and so on. And you know what? That's what that line is doing. They're going out there. They're having plus shifts. And I'll call them plus. I'll call them positive shifts, whatever you want to call them. But they're good shifts. They're energetic shifts. They're shifts where they get chances. They look good defensively. Lafreniere's getting back on the back check. We've never seen him do that before this. He and that's something that he has done in junior and in the World Juniors and everything like that. But again, it seems like these three are bringing it out of each other, and I love seeing that, and I love it. I really do. I honestly think if that line just keeps doing what they're doing, eventually that line's going to break through, and they're going to be a real good third line. And that's if Goodrow doesn't get sent down to the third line and Lafreniere goes and plays right wing. But I don't know if they want to do that at this point. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Only time will tell. Gallant's the only one with the answer. I'm going on to the next point that I wanted to talk about. Trouba and K'Andre. I think this was their best game all year. I know that they've had other games where they were pretty good. I just don't think they were as good. And whoa, I am losing people in here. I'm putting some people to sleep, apparently. Sorry, guys and girls. But Trouba and K'Andre were really good together. They were, I thought they were one of the best. Hey, Chris. But I thought they were one of the best pairings on the ice. Fox and Lindgren are always really good game to game, but Trouba and Miller really stuck out to me because I thought that they played very well, even though they didn't put up points or anything like that. Yeah, Trouba on the second goal, I get it. I'm totally on that. Stop waving and stop stick waving, and yeah, I know, right, Joe? I say something positive and people start showing up. Go figure, right? What gives? But yeah, I thought they played a real good game. I thought K'Andre played his best game of the year. I thought he looked decisive. I thought he could have scored on that one chance that he had. I thought Campbell made a good save there, where Panarin basically pulled the old Stepan Kreider bank play, go off the boards. The play that D'Angelo did a couple of years ago against the Devils when Kreider scored on that backhand break-in. So that cross-corner dump-in play, that almost worked. I thought K'Andre moved the puck well. I didn't notice any bad glaring turnovers from them on defense. Trouba, again, like I said, puck waving on the second Riley goal, but again, that's on a power play. It's on a power play. I can't kill him for it as much. If it was even strength, I'd kill him for it. I'd kill him for it because you know better, and Morgan Riley is a good defenseman. at least offensively. So you can't wave at a guy like that that's that talented and that could skate that well. I thought that pairing was good. The third period was, I thought, their best period of hockey. And I'll stick with this Miller Trouba tandem for a second here because I like this comment here from Mariana. Miller's learning where to pick his spots on offense better. Yes, he is. I think he's also got some confidence now. And I think part of it is going from a real good defensive coach in Jacques Martin to a new defensive coach. I believe Mike Kelly is coaching the defense this year. I could be wrong on that. But Adam Fox has had 3 different defensive coaches in his first 3 seasons, and he's won a Norris Trophy. That's phenomenal. When you think about that, how many defenders go through 3 different defensive coaches in their first 3 seasons? You could probably count the number on them in 1 or 2 hands at most over the years. But K'Andre Miller, I think, is finally getting it. He looked like he needed to be sent down for a while there. I was definitely hard on him. But he's the last, I would say, 4 or so games in a row, he's played so much better. And, yeah, I think there's a lot of good to look forward to with K'Andre here. If he's able to pick this up and carry this momentum through the rest of the season, that goes such a long way for this team because it solidifies your top 4. And when your top 4 defense is solidified, you have a much better chance of winning more games. Look at the Islanders. Their top 4 was questionable with the loss of Nick Leddy. Scott Mayfield didn't have anybody to play with. So they broke up Pulock and Pelech, which is one of the best pairings in the NHL. And then those 2 apart don't look the sum of their parts. Like, Pelech is still good defensively, but Ryan Pulock, 2 points. 2 points before his injury. Not enough for a guy that has 30 to 40 point potential. So Islanders are a prime example of what happens when you don't have top 4 depth. I like this. I'm going to get to that in a second, actually, Jeff, because that's one of my other bullet points that I want to go over. But I want to get back to this third period. They looked like they wanted it more. And I think that Kakko made 2 different plays to break up 2-on-1s that I thought probably were going to end up in goals. And he made one of them coming back on a real hard back check. And you just notice the speed. You notice the confidence. You notice the decisiveness. Another small thing with Kakko that I noticed. He came back and he made the second one that I'm referring to. And then he had the forechecker on him going after the puck. But he pulled an Adam Fox and did like a stutter step stop type of move. And the forward went back and circled back to go back into a defensive formation. And in years prior, Kakko probably wouldn't have made that play. He would have made it in Finland. He would have made it in the World Championships. But he wouldn't have made it in the 2 prior NHL seasons. I could tell you that right now. But he made it. It's all starting to come together up here for him. And I think that's huge for this team. It really is. But that third period, they wanted it. They wanted it. They just needed more time. I say if they would have played anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes of the second period, like the way they played in the third, I think they would have probably won that game. They were that close to doing it on several occasions. Mika Zibanejad in front just couldn't get the puck to his stick a couple of times. Those could have been rebound goals, garbage goals, ugly goals, whatever. They don't ask you how. They ask you how, or they ask you how many, not how, I should say. But I thought that third period was great. Everything that they did was looking good. They got a goal out of it. They got in the second goal. I would have said it was hands down the best period of hockey they've played. And a part of that, so my next point, Gallant's adjustments. You could tell that Gallant made some sort of adjustment, said something in that locker room between the second and third periods. And whatever he did, whatever he said, it worked. And there's no denying that because the passing got more crisp. The execution was better. they looked like they just had a level that they went to, and they were just like, okay, we're gonna channel this, and we're just gonna bring it. And they did. And I thought they played great in that third. And I got to give credit to Gallant. He pushed the right button. It just fell that much short. And they just needed just a little more time to do it. I thought they were so good in that third period. Just carry that momentum into the next game. You come out flying like that in the next game, you're going to win that next game more than likely. As long as you don't just have a brain fart for 20 minutes or something like that. But they played very well in the third. And again, I will say we might be seeing what a Jack Adams level coach can do for a team. We just might. The fourth line, great again. Fourth line was great. I know that a lot of people didn't like the Ryan Reeves move. Where are the haters now? Like I said, for a third-round pick, I liked that move. He was going to change the locker room. He was going to change the energy. He was going to change the culture. He has. And he played very good again. Dryden Hunt played his best game as a Ranger. And I know. Let me have it. I know, because I've been so hard on Dryden Hunt. Let me have it. You can let me have it. It's fine. I deserve it. I know. But he played great. He played his best game of the season. I'm going to whisper this because I might piss off some people. But Dryden Hunt has played better than Barclay Goodrow. I'm going to wait for the angry mob to come kill me now, because I think I might have pissed off a lot of people by saying that. And I'll say it again without whispering, because I don't care. Bring the heat. Dryden Hunt has played better than Barclay Goodrow. And for a $3.6 million AAV and the experience and the winning culture and so on, Dryden Hunt has outplayed him. And I know the numbers are better for Goodrow, but Goodrow spent significant time in the top six. And he gets far more minutes than Dryden Hunt. So, and Barclay Goodrow's got 2 empty net goals. 2 of his, 7 points have come from empty net goals. He's got 1 goal that's not an empty net goal. And he's got some other filler assists. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and bash on Barclay Goodrow, because I don't think he's been terrible. I don't think he's really been great, though, either. But he needs to be better. And it's a testament to Dryden Hunt, who I've been tough on all year. But yeah, and I'm with you, Chris. Barclay Goodrow belongs in the bottom 6. He just does. There's nothing wrong with that. You can understand that Barclay Goodrow is not a terrible player, and that, he doesn't belong in the top 6 at the same time. It's nuance. Nuance allows you to do that. You don't have to be one thing or the other. It doesn't work like that in real life. But I don't know if I would agree with you, though, with moving Hedl to the wing right now. I wouldn't break up that line with him, Lafreniere, and Gauthier. I wouldn't break it up. However, there might be something on the horizon, and we're going to talk about that after we go through everything. So definitely stay tuned. There is some rumor mill to talk about. I don't know if you all saw it, if you were wandering around Twitter, but we will talk about that in a bit. The next thing I want to talk about would be, and I kind of went into this before, but I think this deserves its own point, is that Gauthier's compete level it's really inspiring. I think that he really has kind of come along, and he's changed the fortunes of 2 players. Know that the rumor mill is not this. No, but we will get to that in a little bit. I wouldn't mind Gabriel Velarde, though. I'll tell you that. I really wouldn't mind him at all. That's a guy that could maybe use a change of scenery. I do agree with this, Julian. I do agree with that. If they would have played like they played in the third for any other part of the game, or another 10 minutes, they probably would have won that game. But Gauthier's complete level is just rubbed off on both Hedel and Lafreniere, and it just I would have said that Gauthier wouldn't have done much for me prior to this, but he's looked really good since he come. Is this supposed to be like I'm some sort of hot dog eating slob or something, man? Come on. You've been rough on me lately, Joe. Jeez. Can't catch a break with you guys. Tough crowd. But you know what? Gauthier has been all over the place. He's been winning loose puck battles. He's fighting through the checks. He's doing the things that you need him to do to get the production that you need, and it's rubbed off on the other two players on that line. It really has, and I think that's only good going forward. The next point, I've mentioned this before, best defensive game of the season. I think, and Matthews and Tavares got the point on the second goal, but no, I know, Chris. I was messing around, but I think they played a real solid defensive game considering the jump in competition. They've played some some bad teams. I would say some teams under 500. They only have 3 wins against teams that are in playoff spots right now out of their 10 wins. One of them was against Toronto, but they played well considering that they went from teams that are like here to a team that's probably up here in Toronto. Hey, Frankie, what's going on? But they looked good tonight. They really did. I thought they didn't give them a ton of high danger chances. Of course, you would like my response to it. You would love to troll me, Joe. That is you in a nutshell. You, Sean Statler. I can count on the two of you to troll me like to no end. But I guess that's what I'm here for. I'm a heat magnet. But yeah, I mean, Matthews and Tavares both got the points on Riley's second goal, the power play one. But and even strength, they were really good defensively, and there were no real bad defensive breakdowns. There were a couple of times where moving the puck out of the zone was a little sloppy, but I mean, that's poor execution. It's not really a breakdown when you actually break it down. Pun not intended, but they were good. I thought they were really good. They weren't running around out of position. There weren't players getting crossed up. Maybe this is a sign of them finally adjusting to Gallant's system and buying in. And if that is, that's a really good thing. That is a really good thing. And then the last good point I had was just that they just needed a little more time. And I stand by it. If you would have given me 10 more minutes of hockey like they played in the third period, I think they would have won the game because Toronto was on the ropes. They really were. I really don't have a whole lot of bad to say about this, and I'll go over the bad quickly, and then we'll do more comments and the rumor mill and everything like that. But the only bad parts I say were just the Trouba stick waving on the second goal. You can't do that. You can't. You got to stop, and you got to play the body there, and you don't want to end up on YouTube with the caption being, Hunt McDavid. Dryden McDavid. Hunter McDog shit. But yeah. Dryden Hunt played a really good game. I've been hard on him. He was really good tonight. But again, Trouba, stop waving the stick. Stop waving the stick. Frankie, what do I tell you? Don't wave the stick, right? Tell you to play the body? Can't wave the stick. Can't wave the stick. You gotta play the body on the guys. Because if you're going to do that and you're going to wave the stick, especially at this level, especially with a player as skilled as Morgan Riley offensively, you're going to get burned. Don't do it. And then the other bad thing. Wait, why didn't? Oh, geez. I just realized that the other bad. I guess my other part got deleted somehow. That's a weird thing. Okay. But the ugly part, we'll just go to the ugly then. The other bad part was the execution, actually. The execution was just bad in the first 2 periods of the game. I would say towards the end of the second period, they started getting their breakouts down, started looking a little more relaxed. Toronto wasn't giving them much space through the first, I would say, 30 to 40 minutes. I thought they played a good defensive game, but the Rangers did not. It didn't help. Just the passes were off. Like, every pass it seemed like was off by a little bit. The breakouts were sloppy. They just, instead of breaking out through the middle when Toronto was taking away the sideboards, they kept going up the sideboards and kept trying to force it that way. And Toronto was pinching in, and the defense noticed it. And Sheldon Keefe was smart because he noticed that they kept doing it and they kept sending the defense in. And that's why they had trouble getting out of their own zone and creating offense. So when that happens, you got to make the adjustment. Gallant made the adjustment, and that's when they really started turning up the heat. So the ugly part, the refs. And I have not complained much about the officiating. Maybe 1 or 2 calls here and there throughout these games where I say, hey, bad call. That's going to happen. But tonight was consistently bad. I would say there were 4 or 5. Joe, I'm going to get to that in a second because that's actually a great question. But there are, 1 power play for each team, Chris. You're right. I don't like that. I think there could have been a lot of more calls. I don't mind if they play with the whistles, in the pockets and going a little more lax on the calls, but you can't miss the blatant stuff. I understand that teams get away with pick plays. Detroit was notorious for it for years. But when your pick plays are the equivalent of moving screens in basketball, then you got to start calling something because you're not letting players get through. The player has a right to go after the puck. You can't just interfere with him the whole way. And Toronto was getting away with that, but that's not even my biggest problem. 4 or 5 blatant missed calls on interference plays. Fox, Mika, and Lafreniere all got hauled down, no call. And Lafreniere was trying to get up and get away, and he was getting tugged on the whole time. He couldn't get away. Yeah, and that's a great point, Ariana. You figure Muzzin getting beat as much as he did tonight, the refs would be looking at this and saying, like, hey, you know what, this guy's getting beat. And Goodrow, was another one, Chris. You're right. Goodrow got taken down too. But you got to start calling something, especially when you're seeing it. And I played men's league game last night in roller hockey, and I got speared in the ass 3 times in one sequence. And I had the puck while it was happening, and the referees didn't call it. So, I mean, I expect that out of men's league recreational roller hockey for me, but like when you see this stuff happening in an NHL game, make the damn call. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not like you're getting paid $25 to ref a game so you don't care. You just want to go home. Like, you're getting paid good money to be an NHL referee. Make the call. Isn't there a grading system for these guys? Like, I don't want to spend too much time complaining about the referees because it's not why they lost. It's really not. The first 40 minutes were just so poorly executed by the Rangers with the puck. They just never had a chance in those 40 minutes because they just couldn't make a pass, couldn't break out of the zone, and they couldn't sustain any such sort of offensive pressure aside from maybe 1 or 2 shifts. So, but the referees were terrible, and it didn't help. So, but I will move away from this because there's not much else, and just kind of summarize it in saying, good game. What's going on, Dave? But it was a good game despite the loss. I think there were a lot of positives in this game. Frankie, you're right. Kakko was picking it up. He looks really good. Played very well again, even though he didn't get a point this time around. Actually, no, I think he did. He got the assist on the Hunt goal, actually, right? Yeah, I believe so. I will double check because I believe it was his shot that rebounded right to Hunt, and Hunt put it in. So, yeah, it was, Hunt from Strome and Kakko. Weird situation and where Dryden Hunt ends up with Strome and Kakko instead of Panarin. Must have been a change happening or something like that. Or Dryden Hunt didn't get off. I'd have to go back and watch it. But yeah. So yeah, Kakko gets another point. Kakko gets another point. He played well. He was noticeable at both ends of the rink. The defense was good, played well, really kept the big four in check for the most part. And I just, there are a lot of good signs from this game. There really are. I know I'm not Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows. I am not that. I am the furthest thing from that. And for me to come out and say what I'm saying right now, it has to tell you, yes, Lafreniere looked more engaged. He did. Straight up. He did. He was looking more like the player we saw in junior than to me at any point in his career. I still stand by the fact, and I'll die on this hill. It's Julien Gauthier and the way that he oh God. Yeah. We're going to have like Weird Al Yankovic phony calls for this one because Mike Hunt scoring a goal would be just funny if Sam Rosen ever said that. But yeah, Lafreniere looked a lot more engaged. I still, like I said, I'll die on this hill. Julien Gauthier's compete levels really picked that line up. He's been great since he's come up. Your guys' thoughts? Please keep him coming. And girls, I keep forgetting to say girls. I'm sorry, Ariana, and any other else. I know we do have our female viewers, and thank you all for coming on with me tonight here. I'm not ending it soon or anything like that. Probably go for at least another half hour. So if we get more viewers, I'll stay on a little longer. But yeah, I agree with this. Gauthier has definitely looked better since Sammy Blais' injury. Frankie, I try not to be hard on Sam, but you're right. You're definitely right about that. It's something we've all noticed for years. Kurt, can we buy some face-off wins? For the love of God, please. Can we get Yannick Perreault in here to help them with face-offs? I know I've said this before, but can we please friggin' actually do it? They need someone to help them with face-offs. Someone, something. The Washington Capitals called in Michael Pekka to help them out with face-offs. He came in and helped them out. So, oh, yeah, I know. We've been talking about that. It's in production. I've got to get on that. It's got to be, we got to really like get into it. It will eventually happen. That I can promise you, Joe. That I can promise you. Kurt, yes, it is brutal. They need face-off wins. Do I still have the same views? And welcome to the show, Harrison. I haven't seen you on here before. But Patrick Nemeth wasn't terrible tonight. I don't think he was neither good nor bad. I thought he was just kind of there. He had one of those games where you didn't notice him. So if you're not really talking about him, I guess that would be good. But I want to see more than one game like this before I really get on the Patrick Nemeth bandwagon. So Brad Richards, if he's still with there, I know there at one point he was. I don't know if he still is or not. But if Brad Richards is working on them with faceoffs, go get Yannick Perreault and pay him a hefty sum of money because Yannick Perreault was a 60% guy for a long time in the NHL. So, yeah, I would want Yannick Perreault or someone like that in there to work on faceoffs. I hate the people. Okay, I'm not going to say I hate the people. I dislike the people that say faceoffs are an overrated stat. Are they everything? No. Are they important? Yes. Because if you don't, I like this. I know I have bad ADHD. I had it when I was a kid, so I get distracted in the middle of points when I see something funny like that. But when you when you don't win faceoffs, you lose possession time. And when you lose possession time, you lose chances to score. You're not going to win if you don't have the puck. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. If you don't have the puck, you can't put a puck in the net. That just how it is. The Tortorella shot blocking era showed us this. And yeah, exactly. It's hard to win chasing the puck all game. And you can win the puck off faceoffs, especially offensive zone draws. Offensive zone draws are big for possession, especially on the power play. That's part of why the power play wasn't as good for a while, because they kept losing each faceoff, and you shave 30 to 40 seconds off the clock on the power play that way. So really, you have a minute and 20 worth of power play time to work with in each power play, or a minute and 30 if you're being generous. But yeah, exactly. They won the last game against Toronto by winning the faceoff in overtime. And there was another game recently in which they won a faceoff, and then the one-timer went right to Artemi Panarin. Artemi Panarin fired it in right off the faceoff. You've got to win faceoffs. I don't care if people think they're overrated. They're not. They're not. Are they everything? No. But they're important. They are important. No matter what any analytics nerd or stat guy tells you, faceoffs are important to a point. So I'll stop ranting about faceoffs. The one thing I wanted to talk about, since we're gonna go on here, let me just bring this up. And Darren Dreger and Pierre LeBrun, Chris Johnston were on Insider Trading on the TSN broadcast of the Rangers Toronto game. And basically, Darren Dreger said that Chris Drury is in the market for a quote-unquote middle six forward. Now, I don't know if a middle six forward is necessarily the team's answer. Yes, I get it's a replacement for Sammy Blais, but the team needs a legitimate top six right winger. Barclay Goodrow is not that answer. Let's be real here. Barclay Goodrow doesn't belong in anybody's top six. Doesn't matter who, what, where, when. Barclay Goodrow is not a top six winger. And to get to this, I saw a comment here before earlier on. I want to go back up to it. Matt, yeah, they need to make a trade for first line right winger. I would agree with you there. Somebody, yeah. Oh, there it is. Core Python. It doesn't help having Goodrow on his line. He still looks bad, in my opinion. And Core was referencing Mika Zibanejad. You cannot have a player who is offensively inept like Barclay Goodrow on a first line. I don't care about his winning pedigree. I don't care about winning 2 cups in a row. You never put Mike Keane on a first line because Mike Keane never belonged on a first line. Barclay Goodrow is a modern-day version of Mike Keane. That's what it comes down to. And you're not going to win with a player like that in your top six. You just don't. I know Jesper Fast played on a line with Stroman Panarin, and that line worked. But Jesper Fast was a more skilled player offensively than Barclay Goodrow. And it's, quite frankly, it's not close. I don't care what any stat says. It's not. You can just tell that Jesper Fast was good at moving the puck and cycling and winning board battles. Barclay Goodrow is a guy that could chip in offensively and really is more of a third, fourth line tweener than a third, second line tweener. Jesper Fast could play in your top six in a pinch in the event of an injury. That's really about it. But Jesper Fast was good for that line. Barclay Goodrow is not good for the line that he's on. I think Kreider and Mika would both be better with an actual winger that can drive the play. And I know Phil Kessel's name has been brought up. Joe brought it up earlier on. Others have brought it up. I've seen it all over Rangers Twitter. Phil Kessel could be an option. I think he would be cheap. I think Arizona would even retain on him. I think since Thanksgiving is next week, I think you might start to see trade options open up a little bit, especially before the Christmas roster freeze. That's really what you're looking at. American Thanksgiving is a kind of like a schedule divider where a lot of teams just say, oh, you're in a playoff spot. You're probably going to be a playoff team by this point. I know a lot of games left. Things can change, but usually the good teams start to play good. And do I think the Rangers make a move for Vladimir Tarasenko? I don't know. Does he want to leave St. Louis still at this point? Because we really haven't heard anything about that. Tarasenko is playing well. He is playing well. He looks like he's back from that shoulder surgery. And that's good for St. Louis. That's good for Tarasenko. He's got 14 points in 15 games, including 7 goals. But that's just under a 40-goal pace, and it's just under an 80-goal pace. And those are high-end Vladimir Tarasenko numbers. So, he could be a possibility. I just wonder how much it would cost. And the Rangers, like you said, Chris, cap issues. I don't know if $7 million a year is really going to work for not only just this year, but next year. This year it'll work because they have cap space. But, and Joe, that's the thing. Kessel isn't ideal. Vladimir Tarasenko is going to be a better option for them there. And he's a play driver. He is a play driver. Make no mistake. That's the kind of guy that you want. But here's the thing. There's a guy out there, and coaches love their guys. Riley Smith. Come on down. The price is right. Well, if the price is right, I should say. And Riley Smith could definitely be an option. He can absolutely be an option for this team. Gallant trusts him. He's a two-way guy. He's an all-situations guy. He's a guy that you win with come playoff time. And, again, they want a culture change. They want a guy you can win with. Tarasenko has a Stanley Cup. So does Riley Smith doesn't, but Riley Smith he's been there. He's been to the finals. So you know he knows what it takes to get there. And that's what this team is going to need a little more of. I think Riley Smith can absolutely help Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider. But I think that Vladimir Tarasenko would be ideal on that line. I really do. Even with Mika Zibanejad being a shooter. I mean, all three of those guys are shooters. They're not really playmakers. Riley Smith is a little more of a playmaker than the other two. And he's a little more of a playmaker than Tarasenko. So maybe he fits on that line. We'll see. I honestly think it comes down to which one costs the cheapest. And that, to me, is going to be the big thing. Is can you get Vladimir Tarasenko for a top prospect and a second-round pick, or a first-round pick and a middling prospect? I don't know what the price is going to be. If he continues to play this way, it's going to be something significant. Riley Smith, Vegas is going to have to move him for peanuts. Because when Jack Eichel comes back, that LTIR, Mark Stone, Max Pacioretty, they have a lot of LTIR out right now. I'm going to pull up Vegas's cap and tell you how much that they have right now. Their LTIR used is $13.538 million. That's bad. Their LTIR right now, let's see here. Their injured reserve, William Karlsson and his $5.9 million. Alec Martinez, his $5.2 million. And then, that's injured reserve, long-term injured reserve. So it's salary relief. Jack Eichel, $10 million. Max Pacioretty, $7 million. Jake Bischoff, $716,667. They're technically $4 million. They're over the cap. They're way over the cap. So Riley Smith is gonna have to be moved if Eichel comes back. Eichel's gonna come back in about 3 months. He just had the surgery done. Chad Prusnak did the surgery, and it was a success. I can tell you right now, you're looking at half of November, and then mid-December, mid-January, mid-February. So he could come back by the end of February, beginning of March. So I don't Riley Smith is he's a UFA. He is a UFA at the end of the year. He has a $5 million cap hit. So it's really I think he's somebody they will definitely look at. I think that there's a lot of good to be had with Riley Smith, and I think that they're going to want to get somebody that's off the books next year, because looking at their cap situation, the Rangers have next year under contract. They have total right now for forwards, $36 million, just over $36 million tied up for forwards. Ryan Strom's an unrestricted free agent. Capo Caco and Julien Gauthier will need new contracts as restricted free agents. Greg McKegg and Kevin Rooney are unrestricted free agents. Rooney, I'd imagine they'd probably try to bring back for cheap. All the defense is under contract, but Adam Fox, his deal goes up to $9.5 million. So $9.25 million increase on defense, going to $25,750,000 on the books total for defense. Libor Hayek being a restricted free agent. Then you have Igor Shesterkin as a under contract, obviously, at $5.666 million. Alexander Georgiev is a restricted free agent again. They'll probably try to bring him back for cheap. I wonder if he stays at the same rate or if he gets a little bit of a reduction. I'm not sure. Or maybe they try to trade him. And then Sammy Blais, $1.5 million, is a restricted free agent. So they don't have a lot of cap space for next year. They really don't. It's about $65 million with a few guys to sign. I don't think Kako's going to cost them that much. Same for Gauthier. Strome is the big thing. If you bring back Ryan Strome, I think you're looking at about $6 million to bring him back. So I think if anything, Riley Smith really kind of fits in that regard because he comes off the books next year. If we only had a first line that could drive play and fit, I know. Trust me, I know. I can go over that ad nauseum, but you could have gotten Sammy Blais for a second round pick and a prospect, not Pavel Buchnevich. The Rangers do need their cap going forward. How to pick up girls at hockey bars. Find me a hockey bar and let's go. I'll show you. What do the Rangers really need, though, besides a guy to step up or to step into? That's really what they need. They need a top six winger. They need a top six right winger. They need right wing depth. And I would say they need someone better than Patrick Nemeth. Unless Patrick Nemeth is going to start to magically play well. So, I would say if Jacob Trouba and K'Andre Miller continue to play this way going forward, that goes a very, very, very long way for this team. Because then you don't need a top four defenseman. And then you can allow Nils Lundkvist to kind of slide in. Oh, Nemeth is a god. Yikes. Is Nemeth the god of being a traffic cone? Does he produce traffic cones out of thin air? Kind of like how Moses turned rocks into bread and water into wine? Is that how Nemeth does it? He just turns things into traffic cones, golden ones? But I mean, I would say that if Nemeth can play like this going forward, it goes a long way. But the biggest thing for me with the defense is Trouba and Miller. If they continue to play the way that they have these last few games, then that does everything for this team, because then you don't have to go out and get another defenseman, like I said. Then you can kind of let things happen from within. And if Nils Lundkvist starts to falter, then you could really start looking at Zach Jones. and saying, hey, you know what? Maybe Nils Lundqvist needs to get sent down. And I know Nils Lundqvist is on the right side, but I don't think I'd really have a problem moving Patrick Nemeth over because I don't think he could really be all that much worse on the right side as opposed to the left. So, yeah, this does, Gun Toten Granny. And hi, by the way. It is a little different. I wanted to do something to yeah, Joe, I saw that there. It was John Morrison, Tegan Knox, Top Dollar, the faction in NXT. They released another big name that I'm blanking on. Hold on, I have it in a group text. I gotta pull this up now because I'm gonna kick myself. But oh yeah, so they released Hit Row. Sorry, John Morrison, Tegan Knox, Drake Maverick, Thorne. I don't know who that is. Shane Thorne, I guess. Jackson Riker was another one, but yeah, well, that's a given. That Connor McDavid making people look like traffic cones is an absolute given. He's the most skilled player of all time. Find me another player that could do what he does at that speed. I'll wait. Yeah, Kurt. You know what, and that's a good point. It's mid-November, and I get it. The last few games were against some subpar teams, and that was my caveat, and that's why I was trying not to get too excited because it is mid-November, and you're playing against some bad teams, but they played well against a good team in Toronto. They really did. I thought they played a very, very sound game, and if they played like they did in the third period for a little longer throughout the rest of the game, they could have absolutely won that game. Toronto was absolutely on their heels. Hold on. I'd have to go up and find your question. Hold on. Yeah, I saw this before. I got a little distracted, but I don't think they're worried about the draft anymore, Dave. I really don't think that they're worried about the draft anymore. They don't. Yeah, I just, for me, I don't think they're going to really continue to look at that. I think if Brennan Othman continues his great play in junior, I believe he's 19, I think. I want to just check his age. I believe he's 19. But if he continues to play well, then maybe he gets a call up to Hartford, or maybe he goes to Hartford, and maybe you could see him sooner or later. He's 18 right now. He'll be 19 in January. So not this upcoming season. The next season after that will be a year that he can play in junior. So he's probably about 2 to 3 years away. I don't think they're really focused on draft anymore. Clearly the objective here is to win. They're not going to rebuild. They're going to try to do what Detroit did throughout the 90s and into 2000s, and add good players and prospects and assimilate them into the lineup easily. And yeah. Yes, Chris, the Buffalo Sabres game is a trap game. Don't look past them. They come out and they play hard for Don Granato. You got to get a lot of credit. If they get close to a playoff spot, I really do wonder if Don Granato could get some votes for Jack Adams. I don't think he would win it, but I think he might try to get some, or I think he might get some votes if they're close. Yes, I have had a Pop-Tart, and I haven't had one in a while, but I think the brown cinnamon sugar was probably my favorite. Don't really eat those anymore. I try to stay away from junk food now these days. Like I said, I've lost about 45 pounds recently. I just weighed myself before after the gym. I'm down to 189 now. Weight kind of fluctuates. I was down to 187 the other day. I had halal food for the first time in a while last night after my hockey game because I just did not feel like cooking. And yeah, my weight's been fluctuating, so I've been going up and down, and I don't know. If you look at the earlier videos from earlier on in the year, like in March and stuff like that, you could see it in my face that I've lost the weight. So, yeah, I'm not going to eat any more junk food, but Yeah, that's a good point. Doesn't hurt to replenish Hartford. Um, I understand that, but they're not looking at the draft anymore. That's not the objective. That's clearly not the objective. Everything that's happened within the last, I would say, 6 months would tell you that. So, Bobby, welcome back, by the way. This is an encouraging game. I've said this before. There's a lot of positives from this game. This is not a game that you get yourself down on. It's actually a game where I'm happy with the way that they played in the third, and there are a lot of positives. I just wish they would have played like they did in the third earlier on in the game because they would have won it. A lot of positives to take from this game. Do I think there any chance of Kravtsov playing again? Listen, and Statboy Stevens pointed this out. If Jonathan Gaudreau, Jonathan Drouin, I don't know what the hell I was saying Gaudreau for. Sorry, I guess it's a little late. But if Jonathan Drouin can go and play games again for Tampa and then be traded to Montreal, then Vitaly Kravtsov can probably do the same. You got to have him up at the NHL level. It's either NHL or KHL for him. And you got to stop sending him to Hartford. Don't. Something happened with him and that staff there. Because why would Dan Milstein come out and say he'll play for any other team in the AHL? Something happened there. Something. And thank you. I appreciate that. I do not watch foreign films or our films, by the way. That's just not my cup of tea. And thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. You're always there, backing me in the corner. Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it too, Chris, but it can happen. The objective is to win, and to win sooner than later. They're not focusing on the draft anymore. It's just clearly not the case. You don't bring in guys like Blais, Gaudreau, Reeves, Nemeth, Tenorti. You don't bring those types of guys in if you're not trying to win, because that's what Tampa Bay did. Tampa Bay had the skill. They got beat up by Columbus in that first round upset 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or whatever now, and they went out and they got Gaudreau, Coleman, Maroon, and it put them over the top. So, the Leafs are one of the better teams in hockey right now. And I thought they played a good game. They could have won that game. But top guys needed to be better a bit in the first two periods. Yeah, the whole team needed to be better in the first two periods. I thought the bottom six lines were decent. But I think even those guys, the only line that was really good from start to finish for me was the Gauthier, Hedel, Lafreniere line, third line. And I didn't think they were bad. They weren't good in the first two periods, but I didn't think they were bad either. But they were. I would say they were decent. None of the lines were great though in the first two periods. Mark has that effect on a lot of people. Wow. Good for you, man. That's awesome. Coach A looks very good. Yes, he does. And yes, I've said that before. I said that in my good, bad, and ugly post. That line looked great towards the end. They really did. That's what I've been saying. They are with now. I wouldn't say that's why they lost in 2014, Jeff. I don't agree with that. They lost in 2014 because they just couldn't finish games. They couldn't finish games. That's what it comes down to. When you lose what, three of the four losses came in overtime. Four of the 5 games go to overtime, and 3 of them you lose. You can't. That's finishing games. They weren't a soft team. I could tell you that. But yeah, I know being over 20 million over the cap helps, but really, the grit really kind of put them over the top. So yeah, I agree with you here, Jack. They breaking them up, that would be a bad idea right now. I think that would be a really bad idea right now. There's a lot of there was a lot of potential and talent going on that line, and I think they're playing too well together to break them up. If they start to falter, yes, then you could start looking at things, but I wouldn't touch that right now. I'm with you there. I really would not touch that line right now. Ariana, this is right. They did not have elite talent. Like Rick Nash is a very good talent, but Rick Nash is not on Anze Kopitar's level. And Marian Gaborik was playing at another worldly level in that playoffs, playing with Kopitar. So, yeah, Gaudreau doesn't fit on the top line. It doesn't fit on the top line at all. At all. I that's why I think that they're going to be like Darren Dreger said, they're in the hunt for another winger. I don't know if it's necessarily a middle six winger. I think that they're looking at a top six winger, but I think the prices might be a little high. St. Louis ain't going to move Tarasenko right now. And they might not move him. They might say to him, hey, we need you. And they might smooth things out. I know he wanted to leave, but you never know. Time changes things. And so does winning. Winning changes everything. There are players that have wanted to leave places, and then they start winning, and then it's just like, okay, what happened? What happened to you wanting to leave? So, Gaudreau doesn't fit on the line. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Jack. He's an offensive black hole, and he can't move the puck well. Like, he could do that against lesser lines in Tampa Bay on a line with two clearly superior players. And Yanni Gourde was really the heart and soul of that line. Yanni Gourde just, oh man, he is such a good player. You know what, Joe? I just saw your comment. You know what? I think I'm gonna turn on the TV here and try to go watch a little bit of McDavid too. But yeah, the top line is only going to get worse because the Kreider Houdini is coming. Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. That's what I worry about. And if that is the case, then that's a problem because you can't have Chris Kreider disappearing like that. And that's why I'm hesitant to give him the captaincy. And yeah, Gaudreau needs to be the bottom six. I've been saying this for quite some time, but he needs to be in the bottom six. Jets and Oilers, throw that on. Jeff, thoughts on Zibanejad? Can be better. Good, can be better. The point production is okay. The shooting percentage is always going to regress from the 1920 season where he shot 19.7%. That's just unsustainable. For context, Alexander Ovechkin's career mark, I believe, was in 2014-15, and it was 15.4% that he shot. So the greatest goal scorer of all time possibly shot 15.4% of the season. You think a guy, Mika Zibanejad, that's clearly inferior to Alexander Ovechkin, was going to continue to shoot at 19.7? No way. He had a really hot run when he came back from the concussion in the 2019-20 season from the Bergeron reverse hit. But Mika Zibanejad does need to pick it up. And the problem with that is, again, you have Barclay Goudreau on that line, and Barclay Goudreau cannot be on that line. He is just not a facilitator. He's not a play driver. You need players that can get him and Mika and Kreider the puck. But, I mean, again, this is right. I mean, he's got to be great for us to win. He really does. That's your number one center, and that goes for any number one center. You've got to be great as a number one center to help your team win. And Mika Zibanejad has not been great yet. Not been great. They're showing the Rangers highlight with McDavid, but yeah, I don't know what's something's got to be done about Gaudreau. I get it, but I mean, right now I wouldn't want to break up that third line. And the sad part is, I would scratch Barclay Goudreau for Dryden Hunt right now. If they went out and got a right wing, like let's just say they went and got I don't know. Vladimir Tarasenko, Riley Smith, Phil Kessel. They got one of those three. I would actually scratch Barclay Goodrow to have Dryden Hunt and Ryan Reeves play over Barclay Goodrow. I just really think that Ryan Reeves being in the lineup is better for the team than Barclay Goodrow. I think Dryden Hunt's played better than Barclay Goodrow. Granted, Dryden Hunt has played against lesser competition, but I don't see how it works. The only other option would be really to have Dryden Hunt center Julien Gauthier and Alexis Lafreniere, and then move Filipino up to the top line, or if they want to move, Alexis Lafreniere up to the top line in the right wing. And I don't know if they want to do that because that experiment didn't last for long. So, but then again, he's playing different now. Who knows? Any type of D1, like Division I college hockey, you mean? Kind of having eyes? I'm not sure if what you're referencing there. I'm guessing you're talking about Division I college hockey. There's not really enough that sometimes there's that red hot hockey where some of the ECAC and Hockey East teams come into the Garden. Okay, yeah. So sometimes some of those teams come into the Garden here and there. I'm not sure if that's happened already or not. But I know, like, I think Cornell and was it Cornell and Harvard the last time that they had them there? I can't remember, but sometimes though that ends up happening, and it's a good game to watch. But you're probably going to have to go up to like Boston or something like that to really find good D1 college hockey. I'm not. You're really not going to get much of that in New York. I would give Laf another shot at right with Zibanejad and Kreider. I don't know if Gallant wants to do that. I don't know. It seemed like he was real quick to pull the plug on that. I think part of that was also because of the fact that Lafreniere wasn't playing well at the time. I think if he continues to play like he's playing now, I think he can maybe get another chance. But he's gotta show up there. He's got to show up, and he's gotta play consistent. He's got to continue to do this. Problem is they're putting Goodrow in a situation he should never be in. This is 150% correct, Ariano. It's not his fault. You're right. If they scratch Hunt to put Goodrow in, that line is probably just as good, maybe. But I think Hunt outplayed him. And again, caveat, yes, Hunt has played against lesser competition. The quality of competition that the fourth line is played against is not nearly as much as Mika Zibanejad's line, which Goodrow has played on. He's played some significant time on. But yeah, I think that Dryden Hunt has outplayed Barclay Goodrow. I think a lot of Goodrow's points have kind of been empty. I mean, I know he's got empty net goals, got a couple of those. Hunt, I think, is a better skater than Goodrow. I think the defense is close. Barclay Goodrow has not impressed me this season. He really hasn't. And I know I'm being a little hard on him, but I'm going to be real with you. I'm not going to – this is not sunshine and rainbows. No. I know I'm being positive tonight, but I am not sunshine and rainbows, man. If you want glass half full all the time and you want the Kool-Aid, you're going to have to find someone else to give you that because it's not me. I'll tell you that right now. Goodrow is fine in the lineup. Yeah, yes. But if I'm just personally, if I had to scratch Hunt or Goodrow for the fourth line, I'm scratching Goodrow right now. I'm sorry, but I am. Dryden Hunt's played better. And I'm not just saying this because he scored a goal, but Dryden Hunt has that line, that fourth line, has been so good together, Rooney, Reeves, and Hunt. And they consistently come out every game. They get chances. They're on there, and I know that Hunt ended up with the second line when he scored that goal. But Hunt on the fourth line has just been better. And yeah, Gaudreau has been decent with leads late in games. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, I really don't want to see, and yeah, I mean, we have had problems holding the lead. See the Edmonton game. But yeah. And the Jersey game too. That's another one. And yeah, Jack, I would love to see Pajaniemi come up. If he continues to keep scoring the way that he has, that's possible. I wonder if they give him a shot before they go outside of the organization. I really do wonder if they give him a shot. Sorry, was a little thirsty there. But Reeves, yeah, Ryan Reeves has changed the culture. He has. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. He has changed the culture in that locker room. He's a guy that everybody gravitates to, everybody looks up to. If things were a little different here, I could see him with an A on his jersey because he's just one of the emotional leaders in that locker room. He's a guy that gets everybody charged up. He's a guy that drags everybody into the fight. And I don't mean literal fight. I just mean like fighting in the trenches, battling, Yeah, I mean, I like this comment here. I know I caught myself off again. I got to stop doing that. But Nemeth has not played well. I thought he was okay this game. I thought this was probably the best game of the season for him. I didn't really call out his name too much. I didn't notice him making too many mistakes. But I need more from him like that. I need more on a nightly basis before I really start to get on that bandwagon. I don't have enough for that yet. But if Nemeth starts to play bad again, I would really start thinking about Matthew Robertson or Zach Jones. I really would. Nils is a right side defenseman. Zach Jones, he is a left side defender, I believe. So Nils was okay. Yeah, I thought Nils was okay. I didn't think he was bad. I thought that pairing was okay. Yeah, they would never scratch Hunt for over Gaudreau because they want another faceoff option. Yeah, I mean, that is true. Flexibility is a big thing for them, and from the looks of it. Every time, especially with like key defensive zone draws, they seem to like having that second guy who could take the faceoff, and it's really important to have that. And you know what? You need guys who can win faceoffs just in case the one gets kicked. So, but yeah. Sorry, I had to yawn there. It was just I was trying to hold that back, and it just had to come out. But Keandre Miller did play a very, very good game. He did. He played great. I thought he was really good. I liked what I saw from him. I think he played the best game of the season. One of his very best games as a Ranger to this point in his career. I would say this was one of Keandre Miller's very, very best games. I thought he was decisive with the puck, without the puck. I just think everything that he did with conviction. And I am not going to agree with you because that is wrong. I'm sorry. I know it's your opinion, but I'm going to say it's wrong because they've just been too many games where they have just been bad. But the last few games in a row, they've been a lot better. And especially this game tonight, I thought they were really good. And yeah, I will agree with that. Miller, if he could cut down the mistakes, if he could cut the mistakes in half, like even if he's making 4 mistakes a game, let's say he cuts that down to 2. He could be I think he could be good in his own zone. I think the part of the problem is that this is his second defensive coach in 2 years. I've said that before. I said that earlier on in the stream. You cannot put your young defenders through 2 defensive coaches in 2 seasons or 3 defensive coaches in 3 seasons as Fox and Lindgren have dealt with. And if it wasn't for the fact that Adam Fox is just a special type of talent, like he might be a generational type defenseman. I know. A lot of people don't want to hear that word. Oh, I hate the word generational. But how many defenders win a Norris Trophy in their second season? Ray Bourque didn't. Nick Lidstrom didn't. Nick Lidstrom debuted as a rookie in the 91-92 season. Do you know when he won his very first Norris Trophy? 2000-2001. Yeah. Took him a long time to win. Rob Blake won a Norris before Nick Lidstrom did. Yeah. And yes, Bobby, this is all right. So when I had the old show with Anthony off the post, we were at the old radio station, and we were also on another show on Saturdays, and it was hosted by a gentleman named Ashley Sarge, who helped get us into the NHL draft in Dallas 3 years ago when we went and covered it live. And Ashley got Tony Granato, coach of Wisconsin, on with us, and he pointed that out when we had him on. And Tony was a good interview, real nice guy, but he pointed that out. And Tony had a lot of praise for K'Andre Miller for playing as well as he did. And K'Andre, his rookie year in college was really good before he got hurt. But I mean, yeah, he's gonna have some growing pains. He's a project. Lindgren's been very solid. He is the unsung hero on this team. He's or one of them at least. He's a guy that just goes out there, and that's why I like the idea of an A on Lindgren's jersey, because he's a guy that goes out there and he leads by example. He's another one like Reeves that drags the guys into the war. He's an emotional leader. He's an on ice example type of leader. But I didn't think Fox was bad in the first 2 periods. I don't think he was himself, but I didn't think he was bad. But that first pairing was under siege. They really were. And that's part of why they played as well as they did defensively, because Fox and Lindgren were just trying to keep everything and they were trying to play damage control and keep things even in tie with Toronto. So, hey, Dan, welcome back. You're having a hard time with the team to having staying in defensive zone, even when they play for what team? Dan, I'm going to ask you to reword that, because I'm not really sure of what you're asking there. Maybe it's just late and I'm not getting it, but please just reword that and I'll answer the question, because I'm not sure if I don't want to answer the wrong way. That's nuts for how little time he's been playing D. He's solid. He's a project, and he has potential. No, Ryan Lindgren is better than Dan Girardi. He's better. He is Dan Girardi, but better. He's Dan Girardi that can skate and move the puck. Dan Girardi could not skate and could not move the puck. Miller, if Miller develops into what he can develop, he can become something like Darnell Nurse. Fox, yeah, I didn't think he was bad. I agree that he wasn't himself. I agree. He wasn't, but you know what? For them to play as well as they did defensively, the first goal was a weird goal. I can't kill anybody for it. I honestly thought it was deflected. But if a shot like that gets through with a screen, what are you going to do? Everybody was in their right positions, and it happens. And Igor was really good. Igor was really good. I thought the team was good overall. They just weren't good enough offensively in the first 2 periods because the execution just wasn't there. The breakouts weren't there. The passes weren't there. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I don't think Lindgren's going to put on much more size, Dave. But I mean, they got to start running guys more. Miller's got to play more of it with a snarl and a mean streak. And sometimes that's not in big guys. See Willie Huber for all you older Ranger fans. Tom Poti for the ones who are closer to my age and a little younger than me. But some guys just play like they have size and just don't play with that mean streak. Like Tyler Myers is another one. Tyler Myers is 6'8", like 240, 245. You figured he'd play with a mean streak. He doesn't really play with that type of mean streak. Not everybody is wired like Chris Pronger. It doesn't. Sometimes they're just not like that. I mean, look at Matt Robertson. Matt Robertson's not like that. Jay Bomeister was another one, not like that. Okay, so gonna go back to this because we seem to stay at home. We go on a rush, then we run back home. Can't get the O to stay in the zone. I addressed this before. Part of that is execution. When your passes are off by that much and they're not connecting, you're gonna have trouble. And honestly, breakouts are huge. As somebody who plays hockey, breakouts are huge. I play on a men's league team that can't break out. So as a defender on that team, I have to skate the puck out of the zone. That's not good. You need to be able to break out. If you can't break out, you're going to spend a lot more time without the puck than you will with it. And you're not going to win games that way. Because when you have the puck, you create offense. You can create chances. And you can score goals. One thing basically leads to another. It's a domino effect. But you're right about that. You can't. They can't keep playing like that. You got to have more sustained offensive zone time. And honestly, if I could find that stat somewhere, I don't know where to find that. I've tried to Google it. I've tried to see if there's a site that has it. But time of attack in the offensive zone, the Rangers have got to be near bottom of the league because a lot of their goals come off rush chances. And I know in the Montreal game, they had a couple of goals that were not like that. But you got to start generating more cycle time in the zone. Like when Panarin, 2 years, like the last couple of years, Panarin's line would always generate chances in the zone, and he would have the puck, and you gotta generate more offensive zone pressure and sustain possession in the offensive zone and have the puck. It's vital. It really is. And if you continue to do that, you will continue to win games. And Strome, I thought Strome was physical all night. I think Bunting really. Can we play against Michael Bunting every game? Because if this is the Ryan Strome we're going to get every time we play against Michael Bunting, then I'll gladly take playing against Michael Bunting every game. Can we have him traded through every team to the league so we can literally play every game against him so Ryan Strome can play like this every game? Because this is the Ryan Strome we've all been asking for. Got back hard, back checking on defense. He was super physical. He was going to the rough spots. He was getting chippy. I like it. That's what you need. We need more of that from Ryan Strome. And I agree with this too. And Gallant's right. If they keep playing like they played tonight in the third period, they're going to beat a lot more teams than they're going to win more games than they'll lose. So, but again, buying into the system is a big thing for coaches. Barry Trotz got the Islanders to buy in, and the Islanders have become a better team because of it. When you buy in, you win when you have a good coach. Gallant is a good coach. He is a Jack Adams winner. He took an expansion team in the modern era to the Stanley Cup Finals in their first season. That tells you a lot about what Gerard Gallant could do. Florida was bottom of the barrel when he came in. He improved them from like a 24-5 win team to a 30-something win team, then to a 47 win team that won the division and got knocked out by the Islanders in 2016. Gallant's a miracle worker. it can work and it will work. John, thank you very much, by the way. We appreciate that. Is Capo Caco potentially a Selke Award winner one day? Yeah, I think so. I think he could be. I think if Capo Caco, if everything pans out, he turns into Mark Stone. That's what I want Capo Caco to be. Bunting on the Flyers every night, so Strome and Mika will go off. Well, Mika wasn't impacted by Bunting, but yeah. But Strome, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, now I see what you're saying. Sorry. Which is insane. Honestly, what Vegas did when you think about it, when they had no. Yeah, you're right. They didn't have elite players, but everybody bought in. Another thing, too, and I hate to say this because it's the tragedy that happened right before that season started with the shooting there. That was a galvanizing moment. That brought that entire community, that city, that team, everything together. And they fed off that energy. Galvanizing moments are huge for teams. They really are. And you don't want it to be in a situation like that, but that was huge for them. AZ, welcome back. Yes, Capo Caco did play well tonight. Hedo played well. Gauthier played well. A lot of the guys did play well. Just they needed it just for a little longer, and they could have squeaked out that win. Despite getting Strome back, Panarin still looks a bit off. He shot more the last game, Jeff. He shot more the last game. And I do think he needs to shoot a little more. He passed up a couple of shots tonight for some reason. I don't know why, but he did. He needs to continue to shoot. Be selfish when you have to. You're gonna win games. I think the whole team sometimes passes up shots. I think they did that a little bit tonight. It's part of it. I think the biggest problem is with the team that they needed a winger for that line to click. They'd been looking for somebody since Jesper Fast left. Colin Blackwell somehow clicked for a little bit there, but I really just think that he was on the hot streak of a life. I don't think you're going to really see him ever play anywhere close to that level ever again. So I think Capo Caco is finally really starting to get down the chemistry with the two of them. So, yeah, I think he's going to end up staying on that line. I think Nils needs to spend some time in the AHL, and Jones needs to come up. I don't know. Jones really, I agree. He has been playing well the past 2 weeks or so. His last few games have all been pretty good. He got his first goal the other day against Bridgeport. I do think at some point you might see Zach Jones. I just don't know if it's soon. And I don't know if Nils needs to spend the time down. If you look at his analytics without Nemeth, his analytics without Nemeth are way better than they are with him. I would have to bring up, hold on, let me see if I can find this actually now, because it was just given to me by my friend Statboy Steven. I know you guys all love him. I could see Joe talking about sending Nils down just to piss off Steven. Dan, no, I haven't been able to find a thing for it either, but I haven't, and it's kind of annoying, really, to tell you the truth. Okay, so here it is. I don't know if you all can see it. All right, so all the two numbers that are higher, like the two ones that are the highest, are Lundqvist's Corsi for percentage without Nemeth and Lundqvist's expected goal for percentage without Nemeth. So what that's telling you is that without Patrick Nemeth, Nils Lundqvist helps generate a lot more shots and helps generate a lot more chances. So Patrick Nemeth is really the problem. And he hasn't been good. I mean, he was okay today. It was probably his best game as a Ranger tonight, but he's got to be better. Heedle looks great, and I hope the God he stays healthy and is consistent. Yes. Can't agree with that more. Gallant gives the players to play their game. Can't agree with that more. Again, you guys are on tonight. All of you are putting up some great points here. Yeah, I mentioned this before. Galvanizing, 9-11 and the Mets, but the Mets didn't make the playoffs that year, though. I had to take the shot at the Mets there, but you needed to help you make the playoffs. I'm not trying to just rag on the Mets, but I just wanted to mess with you for a little bit because I know you would do the same thing to me with the Yankees. So, but yeah, you need those moments to make the playoffs. Out of 10, how did Kako play in general tonight? I'll give him an 8 out of 10. He got a point, got an assist on the only goal for the Rangers. And yeah, I just think that his defensive game was really good. I thought that line played well in the third. He made a couple of really good plays. I just think that if he can really start scoring some more goals or start making some more plays to help Panarin score some more goals, I think you could see me change that to a 10 sooner than later. Easy. Buddy told you today that they're going to make a run at the left wing over at the Blues. St. Louis left wing. They don't need left wing help. I can tell you that. They've got 3 left wingers. They don't need left wing help. They need right wing help. So if you're talking about Tarasenko, yeah, it's possible, but Darren Dreger was also talking about that today earlier on, like I mentioned. So wouldn't be shocked. I pissed at Panarin because he did a stupid note. Yeah. Some of his passing has just been a little weird. It's been off. It's really been off. And he's just been his decision-making's kind of baffled me at times where he's just making passes that you haven't seen him make in the last 2 years. And he's just been known for making precision, on the point, smart passes. Have a good night, Crispy. But yeah, Panarin's decision making has been a little off. Yeah, that's more along the lines, Dave. The Boston Marathon and Boston Red Sox. Tomas, I feel that the third line was clicking very well. Third, yeah. It just. Yeah, I think that that line has been clicking. To me, I would say the best line is probably on the third line, and then their line has been the second best line. And then the fourth line, then Mika's line has just kind of been on and off. I think that Gaudreau needs to get the hell off that line. Barron is killing it. Yeah, he's been really good. He's just telling them that he does not want to be in Hartford anymore. And it's going to get to a point where you're going to have to call him up or you're going to have to move him. Because honestly, I think he's just too good for Hartford soon enough. Rooney, I would consider keeping him. Yeah, I would too. I think he's a good fourth line center. Yeah, I could see this, but I also could possibly see K'Andre Miller and Nils Lundqvist being those guys. Georgiev, Kravtsov, and a first for Tyler, Trifoli, and Ben Sherratt. I don't like that move at all. I get it. It fills some needs, but I don't want to give up Kravtsov for 2 guys like that. I'd rather go give up Kravtsov for someone. If I'm going to go give up Kravtsov for a veteran, go get me Philip Forsberg. Go get me Philip Forsberg. Julian G. Yep. Yeah. Again, I agree. I couldn't agree more with this. I think, and I referenced it before, his compete levels rubbed off on Heedle and Lafreniere. And they've both been very good. And Lafreniere has been more engaged than I've ever seen him in his career these last few games since that line has been created. And Lafreniere looked good with Kako and Heedle last year. But, I mean, again, it just seems like these guys, they just need someone to play offense with. They need someone to be able to move the puck with. And Gauthier has been a spark plug. And you need guys like that. And Gauthier, if he continues to do what he keeps doing, he's going to stay in the lineup. He's winning over Gallant right now with the way he's playing, because I know he's winning over everybody else. He's played well. So, Anthony Tonelli. Well, welcome to the show. I don't think I've seen you before. The rumor that we was talking about before, it was Darren Dreger on TSN's Insider Trading during their telecast of the Rangers-Leafs game. And he was saying that the Rangers were in the hunt for a middle six winger. I don't think middle six winger is really what they're going to be in the hunt for. I think they're going to look at Phil Kessel. I think they're going to look at Tarasenko of St. Louis, decides that they want to move him, or he continues to not back off that trade request by the end of the season. But I think they'll look into more top six wingers like that. And then Riley Smith too, obviously, because Las Vegas is going to have to move him. So, do I think Panarin will return to form? Yes, I do. I just think he's too good of a player not to. It's going to happen. Eventually he will break out. I do like Barron. I want Barron to come up, and I want him to play well. Gauthier is fast. He's speed. He's Kreider light. He's a poor man's version of Kreider. That's what he is. Very straight line, straightforward player, a lot of speed, size. I think he could be better with his board battles, and he's gotten better. And that's going to be a key thing. If he can help with the cycle game, it's gonna go a long way, because he's insanely strong and fast. President of the Kravtsov fan club. I've got one of his jerseys. I can thank Snapboy Steven for that, but I've got one of his jerseys, so I'm hoping they can mend things with him, because it would be great to have him come in and be one of those top six right wingers. Laugh Crush, yeah. Yes, I love seeing that too. I've been calling for that. We've needed that. I love it. I like Barry. I wonder, can you slot Sammy B on the right side? I know he's. That's a good point. I mean, it would be a good problem to have once Barron's called up. I mean, have a lot of depth options. Let's see what time holds. I would say that it would be a good problem to have, though, to have all that depth and all those options. Would you say Nemeth is to Gallant like Howden was to DQ? No, because I think that there's more of a contractual issue. Hunt, I could say Hunt is more of Gallant's Howden. I would say Hunt is more of that, but Hunt has played better as of late, and that fourth line has gotten better because of it. I think the fourth line's been decent all year, but lately they've been really good. Doesn't matter if we get depth. Won't matter as much as we get some great wingers. Well, that's part of depth. I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand there. AZ, I think you might be right. I think, honestly, if one of the young guns comes along, or if someone else comes along that could slot Nemeth out of that lineup, I mean, I'd take the loss on his contract. I wouldn't even mind buying him out. I really wouldn't. I just think that he's just not a good player. I didn't like the signing. I bashed it when it happened, and I warned everybody that the Avalanche and Red Wings fans were going to tell us that he was bad, and they were right. And thank you. I appreciate that. Do I have any fantasy hockey sleepers? Oh, sleepers. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm just got to plug in charger to my laptop, because my laptop is starting to get low in battery here. Sleepers. I know that a lot of people are talking about Michael Bunting being a sleeper. I think it was Mike Murphy who does the fantasy hockey analytics on NHL Network was talking about him. They were saying that he could be like a poor man's Zach Hyman. Sleepers. I like Josh Norris in Ottawa. I think he could be a good player. Drake Batherson in Ottawa as well is another one. I mean, fantasy hockey season's already going, so I don't know if you're drafting or if you're talking about just targets for trade. But yeah, I do think there are a couple of other guys. I mean, Lucas Raymond is up there in the Calder race right now. He's got to be the front runner for it. Moritz Seider has been really good. I feel like anybody who's gotten those guys, if you're looking for trade targets, I would say those would be trade targets. Kreider is a poor man's version of Kreider. Yes, sometimes he can be a poor man's version of himself. When he disappears, let's just hope that he doesn't have one of those long extended streaks this year. Feel the goal that is to get Schneider here when he's ready and Nemeth will be traded. Yeah, I think Schneider is more of like the down the line replacement for Trouba. Tomas, I say we really don't have anybody to replace Nemeth. Yeah, I think you'd have to go outside for that right now. Laurie P or Barron Cole. I think Laurie P would probably get it before Barron just because they need more help on right wing, and Laurie could fire the puck. He would be such a help on a power play. He really would. McKegg should never play again on the Rangers over Barron and Pine. I agree, but we both know that's not going to be the case, Bobby. Hunt has been playing very well. Yeah, I've even agreed there. I can't I can't disagree there. I really can't. Mark Giordano would be a better replacement for Nemeth, even if he's 38 years old. I wonder if Seattle would really move him, considering that he's their first captain. I believe he only has a year left on his deal, if I'm correct. But yeah, he's got 1 year left on his deal. I just don't know if he's going to re-sign there. I'd imagine he might not. So I wonder what Seattle would move him for. And if the Rangers can get him and have him come in there, that would be big for them at the deadline. It really would. And if you can have him come in there for be a stopgap for 1 year and give some leadership on defense, he could help out a guy like Nils Lundqvist. And that would go a long way towards making your defense better because he's a massive upgrade even at this point over Patrick Nemeth. Faceoffs are a huge issue. Yes, they are. I don't care for anyone who says that they're overrated. They're not overrated. They are not everything, but they are important. And I said that before, then verbatim. So, Dave, yes, I did see him blow past that. And you know that he scored on Ranta, right? So, yeah. Riley Smith would be perfect on that line. I do agree with you. Everest, welcome back, by the way. Right now, the Rangers are playing a little better. The Islanders have some problems that they need to address. Secondary scoring is a big problem. Actually, primary scoring is a big problem for them, too. Their big guys aren't producing offensively. Brock Nelson is their scoring leader right now. That's not good. Not when you have Matt Barzal. Anders Lee does not have a lot of points. Kyle Palmieri just got his first goal the other night. Their defense looks bad. Zdeno Chara looks like he's cooked. I've said that for a long time now, but it looks worse and worse. Andy Green is not good defensively anymore. He's slow. Maybe Robin Salo and Sebastian Aho coming up would help them. Little Joe Pavelski would be a great pickup. I think he's got term left in his deal, so I don't know if I like that. I believe he's got term left. Oh, no, he's only got 1 year left at $7 million. Maybe that could be an option. But then again, Dallas would have to fall out. And I don't know if Dallas is going to fall out. Let's see. Standings. These are up-to-date standings. So I don't know if Dallas played tonight or not. Dallas is 6th in the Central with 14 points. Did they play tonight? Let's see the scores. Let's go here. Scores. Dallas did play tonight, and they got trounced by Minnesota 7-2. Oh, my God. Minnesota leading that division or tied with Winnipeg for 22 points. Winnipeg is playing right now. They would be playing their 17th game. So if they win, they would go up to 24 points. trades would have to say 2 players. Yeah, those are the names. Those are the names that are out there. It's not saying much when blank is player over Nemeth. Yeah, well, but when we're talking about someone like Mark Giordano, Mark Giordano is a huge upgrade over Patrick Nemeth. And yes, anybody almost is an upgrade over Patrick Nemeth. He's one of the worst defensemen in the NHL right now. But Mark Giordano is a huge upgrade, even at his age, over Patrick Nemeth. Tomas, future lines on D: Fox Lindgren, Miller and Schneider, Jones Lundqvist. Maybe. I would say that you would probably want to mix. You probably want to put Lundqvist with Miller and then Jones with Schneider, and I think those would work because I think those 2 pairings would work better. Well, that's what I was saying before. And AJ Malechko, who I love, brought up a great point in the telecast against the Panthers the other night. And she said that when you lose players like Devon Taves and Nick Leddy, who can skate and move the puck well, that causes problems for your defense. And they don't have that great dynamic puck mover. Ryan Pelech can move the puck, but he's not a very, very good puck mover. He's a good 2-way guy. Ryan Pelech also only had 2 points before his injury. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. It ain't looking good for the Islanders. And that puts on more pressure for them to go get Sam Girard. And if the price that's been reported for the asking price for Sam Girard is true, what it would cost for the Islanders would be about Anthony Beauvillier. And I don't think the Islanders can afford that, nor do they want to do that. Yeah, Nemeth is I think Mark Stahl is a better skater than Patrick Nemeth. Patrick Nemeth, the one thing that he's okay at is blocking shots. And those defenders are antiquated in today's game. Your Dan Girardis, your Mark Stahls, your Patrick Nemeths, guys like that who are puck whackers who just whack the puck out of the zone when it's in there, and can't really move the puck well, don't make a good first pass, can't really skate all that well, can't help sustain offensive zone pressure. Those defenders are antiquated. You're not really seeing those defenders anymore. And if you guys remember, when the 04-05 lockout ended and the 05-06 season came around, Philadelphia had defenders like Darian Hatcher, Mike Rathje. New Jersey had Dan McGillis and Vladimir Malakhov, who couldn't really move anymore. Same thing is happening right now. A lot of those guys that are puck whackers that really can't move the puck well, they're being phased out of the game. That antiquated type of defender doesn't exist anymore. Like they're done. They're done. But no, Bobby. Kevin Klein was actually a good defenseman. He was a really good defenseman. Injuries kind of cut his career a little short, but he was a really good defenseman. He was a solid number 4, number 5 defensive defenseman who could move the puck well. Georgiev been shaky, yeah. If he gives me more of what he gave me in his last start, okay, I can live with him. But if he's going to play the way that he did the second half of the game against Edmonton after he let up the Puljujarvi goal, then no. Then he's got to go. But I can't see him getting a raise on that 2.4. I wouldn't even give him the 2.4. I would offer him less as a restricted free agent. And I would say, listen, you want to stay here? Cool. You're going to take less because you haven't been as good. You gotten worse. So yeah, Kevin Klein did. That Klein for Del Zotto trade helped shore up that defense during the 13-14 season. That really did help because him playing with John Moore was really good because Del Zotto could not play with John Moore and vice versa. You had 2 guys that wanted to skate the puck up. John Moore was a better skater than Del Zotto. Del Zotto never fixed his skating, and that's why he regressed the way he did after 2012 and that 40-point season he had. Nemeth gets beat pretty bad when opposing players are fast and above average skaters. Yeah, and that's the problem. Trouba has some of that same trouble at times. But you got to learn how to keep players to the outside. And Patrick Nemeth he's not good at that. His gap control isn't good. His lateral movement isn't good. You need more from guys like Nemeth. And I don't know if he's capable of giving anybody that. Pavelski's advanced stats are near his career averages, and he wins over 50% of his faceoffs. Yeah, and you know what? And you're right. He could probably help at wing too. I think if they bring him in, I think they would bring him in to play wing. He's listed as right wing and center, and right wing is really what they need. So, yeah, Joe Pavelski could help. I just don't know if I think he would come a little cheaper than some of the other options here because of his age. That's my only worry. My worry is how is he going to hold up at the end of the season? He's got 9 points in 14 games right now. So 9 points in 14 games, I believe, is about a 55 or a 60-point pace over 82. That's just off the top of my head. I'm doing the math right now. So 52 points. Sorry, 53 points. So I was close. But, yeah, he needs to – I mean, it's not bad. There's not a – Sagan's really the only elite offensive guy in Dallas. Radulov is not – Radulov might be another guy that might be available for Dallas. I think he would fit perfectly with Mika and Kreider. I think he plays more like Buchnevich. And I think Radulov – the only problem with him is I think he has term left. And I don't think they could afford to do that. Oh, no. This is his last year. He has no movement clause. He has also a 15-team no-trade list. So you'd have to wonder if the Rangers are on that list. Yeah, that was funny. He went from Lisa Ann to Lisa Ann's friends, and that was just funny to watch. Oh man, Klein, yeah, Klein could move the puck when he needed to. He could skate it out when he needed to, but he was good at making the first pass, and that's what you need from your defenders. You need breakout passes because transition game starts from the defensive zone and out. And that's why Adam Fox is amazing because he can transition the puck out of the zone better than just about anybody in the entire league. He's so good at it. And, yeah, Zach Jones does play stylistically similar to Adam Fox. 1 point about Kessel is he shows up in the playoffs. And, yeah, I mean, Phil Kessel playoff-wise, and I'll pull up his numbers. I know that he wasn't great with Boston, but – Phil Kessel in the playoffs, 34 goals, 81 points in 96 games. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. He had 2 years in a row in which he had just under a point per game, but was a 20-point player when they won those 2 Stanley Cups. He was a point per game in 2009 for the Bruins, 11 points in 11 games. He was a point per game in 2008, 4 points in 4 games. In the 7-game series in 2013, he had 4 goals and 6 points in 7 games for that Toronto Maple Leafs team. 9 points in 12 games in 2018 in Pittsburgh, and then his last 2 playoff appearances for Pittsburgh and Arizona were not really that good. But Pittsburgh got trounced by the Islanders in 4 games, and nobody on that team was good in that series for Pittsburgh. And Arizona, he really didn't have a whole lot to work with in 2020. Then they got trounced by Colorado after the play-in series. So... Oh, Bobby, yeah, I've said that. I literally, that was one of the things on my Good, Bad, and Ugly post. If you go look in the group, I said that was actually one of their best games. And the last few games, they've been good. So, yeah. I think with the 14 A's that we Oh, the jokes about having everybody as an A, especially with like the Oprah Winfrey, you get an A and you get an A and you get an A, you want an A, you get an A too. Everybody gets an A. Yeah, that never gets old. And it's right. I don't know if Kessel's really a personality, though. I know there are problems with him and Malkin meshing, and I don't think it's because there was heat between them. I think it's just Kessel needs the puck to be effective. Malkin needs the puck to be effective. The thing with Crosby and Malkin is funny because they play so much better with guys who don't want the puck nearly as much on their stick. They play better with having oh my God, the Sabres just got trounced 5-0 by the Flames tonight. Mangiapane had another one. I mean, look at this play here. They just showed you the first Riley goal. I mean, the only thing you could say is just there was a screen in front, and then maybe Reeves could have gotten to the point a little quicker on that, but yeah. Yeah, I know. A lot of people hate the 6As, but going back to Joe, I don't think Kessel's really that much of a problem. I really don't. I think that just there was a lot of things that happened, and I just think it's more of a stylistic thing with Kessel and Malkin. Anthony, I think we should look into veteran backup and trade Georgiev. When are they available? Because I'm not against trading Georgiev. You're probably not going to get a lot for him, but I'm not against it. I can tell you that because I don't feel like paying him $2.5 million again to be a backup because he's not worth that. Kessel gives the impression his workout routine is a little yoga spin class and fast food and ready to go. Listen, if he continues to skate like he has throughout his career, yeah. Flames are legit, yes. And the Flames became good when Daryl Sutter came back, and they finally decided to start buying into Daryl Sutter hockey. Because Daryl Sutter hockey wins. He's got 2 Stanley Cup rings. One of them is unfortunately at the cost of the Rangers. Yeah. Kessel is not playing well this year, but is anyone on Arizona playing well this year? No. Just no. I don't know if I trust Kincaid. I don't. Would I feel more comfortable in net with Georgiev? Maybe. Shesty should play at least 65 games. Yes. And Mark was all over that last year. Mark said that the stupid 1A, 1B stuff with Quinn, with the goalies, was nonsense. Kincaid would be okay until one of the young goaltenders. I don't know if I agree. Kincaid plays a good game here and there, and then he has stinkers. He has absolute stinkers, just like Georgiev. And when he starts coming up and that starts happening, then you guys are going to realize why Keith Kincaid, for the last few years, has spent the majority of the time in the minors. You'll see. Trust me, you will. And I will be there to say, I told you so, even though I like Keith Kincaid. And I'm not a huge Alexander Georgiev fan. Keith Kincaid is not a clear-cut cup upgrade over Alexander Georgiev. Sorry, he's not. He's just not. I'm going to go about 5 more minutes. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll take a few more questions from you guys. I didn't expect to be on for 2 hours doing this. And thank you all for being up with me, being creatures of the night, having good and having some good questions and some good points to make because the time has just flown by. I can't believe I'm already on for almost 2 hours doing this. I would have never imagined that. Mark will probably be very happy about that. But yeah, and that's part of it. Georgiev hasn't gotten a lot of time. It's hard to be good consistently when you're not getting consistent minutes. That's why Georgiev was so good in 2018 and 2019 because he had the chance to play a lot. He did. Oh, and that's another thing. The meetup. Yeah. It's going to be November 28th, not this upcoming Sunday, next Sunday. And the ticker is below. It's going to be at Time Out Bar in Hicksville. Let me see here if I have the video clips. Okay, here is the bar meetup. Join us for this Time Out Sports Bar in Hicksville. Let me get rid of the banner there. It's 616 South Oyster Bay Road in Hicksville. It's a timeout bar in Hicksville. Just Google that because I'm having a little trouble reading that because the font is so small. But I believe it's 616 South Oyster Bay Road in Hicksville. Actually, I'll open up a tab. Timeout. Just to kind of make sure here. Yes, 616 South Oyster Bay Road. It's a 6 o'clock game. 6 o'clock game. So it's a Sunday, November 28th. It's a Sunday after Thanksgiving. I know we're going to be doing raffles. Not 612, 616, Dave. So, yes, 616 South Oyster Bay Road, Hicksville, Y 11801. So, yeah, thank you, Bobby. Appreciate that. Would love to see us get a run at getting Braden Point. Yeah, me too. Then let me know when you wake up because I'm dreaming of that too, buddy. Trust me. I would love Braden Point. Braden Point would solve a lot of the problems for this team. So, I mean, not full. Here it is. We'll be broadcasting with show with raffles and 50-50. So, yes. Just definitely join us for that. If you are a Long Island or New York City commentator or commenter on here. But Joe, I want to be the Stat Boy Steven of your wrestling show. I see some of your picks, Joe. You look like you're good out there. That would be interesting. So, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I am starting to get a little tired. I'm not totally tired. I'll probably be up for a little bit, but it's been 2 hours. This is awesome. I think I'm gonna do more of these because it's you guys were great tonight. We were above 20 viewers in here for a stream that started at 11 o'clock. That's awesome. That really is awesome. And I can't thank you guys enough and girls for Ariana was in here before. Thank you all for coming on and listening to me ramble and asking questions and keeping the conversation going. Again, I would love to see some of you that are in the Long Island area for the meetup on the 28th. It would be awesome to put some faces for the names. Joe, you're welcome. This was awesome. I thought this was cool. I'm going to try to do these earlier after games, especially if I'm home. I like to sometimes go to the gym after the games. I'll try to go to the gym before, so this way I can do these after. And I would love to continue to do these. I will put some more feedback on them or put some more info on the groups and stuff like that, and maybe a poll. I'll even do something on Twitter and see if you guys want more of these because I think this was good. I really do. And thank you, Bobby. I appreciate it. But good night, everybody. Let's go Rangers. Hopefully we can bounce back, but a lot of positives to take from tonight's game. Don't be mad, especially if I'm not mad. I don't think anybody should really be mad because I'm usually the one that gets more angry than anybody when they play well or when they don't play well, I should say. So, a lot of positive signs to take from this game. And if they can play like they played in the last 20 minutes going forward, they're going to win a lot more games than they'll lose going forward. And hopefully this is the start of them buying into the system. So have faith in Gallant, and Gallant we trust. Let's go Rangers. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.